I still remember the exact moment my sister looked me straight in the eyes, smiled like she was about to tell a joke, and instead said, "You are a burden. We want to live without you." The room went dead silent after that, except for the faint clink of my father's spoon against his plate. Because he didn't say a single word, he just kept eating like nothing happened. And that's the part that broke me the most. Not her words, but his silence. So tell me honestly, if you were sitting there in my place, being erased from your own family, while the one person who was supposed to protect you said nothing, what would you have done? I guess to understand why that moment hit so hard, you need to know what my life looked like before that dinner. I wasn't always the burden. In fact, growing up, I was the responsible one. The quiet one. The one teachers praised and relatives compared their kids to. My name is Asan, and I'm the older sibling. My sister Sana is 3 years younger than me, and for as long as I can remember, she was always the favorite, not in an obvious way at first, but in all those small invisible ways that slowly add up. She got away with things I would be punished for. If she broke something, it was just a mistake. If I did the same, it was carelessness. If she cried, the whole house would revolve around her. If I stayed quiet, no one even noticed. My mother used to say, "You're strong. Asan, you don't need as much attention." I believed that for years. I wore it like a badge of honor. I thought being ignored meant I was independent. I didn't realize it actually meant I was invisible. Things started to shift when I turned 19. I had just started university, studying engineering, and everything seemed to be going in the right direction. But then my mother got sick. It started small, fatigue, headaches, but within months it turned into something serious. Hospital visits, tests, long nights. And suddenly I wasn't just a student anymore. I became the one who handled everything. I drove her to appointments. I stayed with her during treatments. I managed the house when she couldn't. My father, he was there, technically. But emotionally, not really. He buried himself in work, coming home late, avoiding conversations. And Sana? She was still in school at the time, and instead of stepping up, she pulled away. She said she couldn't handle the stress, so it all fell on me. I didn't complain. I told myself this is what family does. You show up when it matters. I missed classes, skipped exams, watched my grades slip, but I didn't regret it. Because she was my mother. She passed away when I was 21. After that, everything changed. The house felt empty, but not just because she was gone. It was like the glue holding us together had disappeared. My father became colder, quieter. And Sana, she transformed into someone I barely recognized. She became more outspoken, more demanding. And slowly, I noticed something disturbing. She started rewriting the story of our lives. Whenever relatives visited, she would say things like, "I had to grow up so fast after Mom died," or, "I've been handling everything on my own." I would sit there, listening, confused, because that wasn't the truth. But every time I tried to correct her, she'd laugh it off like I was joking, and no one questioned it. At first, I thought maybe she just needed attention, but then it got worse. I had to drop out of university because I couldn't afford it anymore. I took a job at a small office, barely enough to cover expenses, but I made it work. I paid bills. I kept the house running. I even supported Sana through college. And yet, in her eyes, I was the failure. She started making comments here and there. "You never finished your degree. You're stuck in a dead-end job. You're still living at home." Each word felt like a small cut. And my father? He never defended me. Sometimes he'd nod slightly, like he agreed. Other times he'd just stay silent. I kept telling myself, they don't mean it. They're just stressed. Things will get better. But they didn't. That dinner, the one I told you about, it was supposed to be normal. Just the three of us. Sana had just gotten a new job at a big company, and my father was proud of her. I was happy for her too, genuinely. I even bought a small cake to celebrate. We sat down, started eating, and at first, everything seemed fine. Then Sana started talking about moving out. She said she wanted her own place, her own life. My father agreed, saying it was a good step. I nodded and said, "That's great. Let me know if you need help with anything." And that's when she looked at me and said it. "You are a burden. We want to live without you." I laughed at first, thinking she was joking. But she didn't laugh back. "I'm serious," she said. "You've been dragging us down for years. It's time you figure out your own life." I turned to my father, waiting for him to say something. Anything. But he just kept eating. And in that moment, something inside me broke. So that's the situation I was in. Sitting at a table with the only family I had left, being told I didn't belong, and realizing no one was going to stand up for me. I had a choice to make. Do I stay? Keep sacrificing? Keep being the invisible support system? Or do I finally walk away and choose myself? Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to pause and think about it. Seriously, put yourself in my place. Would you have stayed? Would you have fought? Or would you have left everything behind? Because what I did next changed everything. I didn't argue. I didn't shout. I just stood up quietly, looked at both of them, and said, "You're right." They both looked surprised. "I am a burden," I continued, but only because I stayed where I wasn't wanted. I went to my room, packed a small bag, took whatever savings I had, and left that same night. No dramatic goodbye. No looking back. The first few weeks were the hardest. I stayed at a cheap hostel, worked longer hours, took on extra shifts. There were nights I barely slept, days I skipped meals. But for the first time in years, I felt something strange. Peace. No judgment. No constant criticism. No feeling like I had to earn my place. Slowly, things started to improve. I found a better job. I saved more. I even enrolled in online courses to finish what I had started years ago. It wasn't easy, but it was mine. Months passed. Then a year. And then, one day I got a call. It was my father. I almost didn't answer. But I did. His voice sounded different, older, weaker. He said, "We need to talk." I went back to the house I had once called home. It looked the same, but it felt different. Sana wasn't there. My father told me she had moved out, like she planned, but things didn't go as smoothly as she expected. Her job wasn't as stable as she thought. She struggled financially. And without me there to handle everything, my father realized how much I had been doing all along. "I was wrong," he said quietly. "I should have spoken that night." I didn't know what to say. Then he added, "She's been asking about you." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Now she remembers I exist," I said. A few days later, Sana reached out. Her message was simple. "I'm sorry. For a long time, I just stared at it. All those years of being overlooked, dismissed, treated like I didn't matter. Reduced to 2 words. But here's the thing I realized. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you." So I replied, "I forgive you, but I'm not coming back." And I meant it. Because walking away wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning. Now I have my own place, my own life. I finished my degree. I built something for myself without depending on anyone who made me feel small. My relationship with my father is complicated but better. As for Sana, we talk occasionally, but things will never be the same. And honestly, I'm okay with that. Sometimes people don't realize your value until you're gone. And by then, it's too late to go back to what it was. If there's one thing I learned from all this, it's that family isn't just about blood. It's about respect. It's about showing up for each other. And if someone makes you feel like you don't belong, you don't have to stay and prove your worth. So yeah, that was my story. If you were on my side, make sure to like this video. And if you've ever been in a situation where you had to choose between family and your own peace, I really want to hear your story, so drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more real, raw stories like this. And I'll see you all in the next one.